safe streets, vibrant neighborhoods, successful business and commerce. These are things that make a healthy community. We are a diverse community, rural, suburban, urban, a multitude of languages and ethnicities, ages and experiences. We are a collaborative community. Public-private partnerships make us a model community that others want to follow. It is what makes us unique. It is what makes us strong. The employees of Kent County reflect our diversity and seek to serve our communities.
People in this county, in this area, we wrap our arms around each other. We come together to collaborate, to solve problems. We're all working for the good of the whole. And I think that's wonderful. And you can see it. You can see it as you drive around Kent County.
Our impact starts the day a baby is born and a birth certificate is issued, to protecting children from deadly diseases through vaccination, to the public safety and justice provided by law enforcement and the courts, to offering veteran services and caring for the elderly. Every day we work to keep our communities robust.
I think if you are somebody who is interested in serving your community, in building a strong knowledge base and a good group of people to work with, then the county is one of your best employment opportunities out there. It's been completely rewarding in every way I could possibly explain for 26 years, and I feel like I grow every single day still today.
Leading these dedicated employees, our 19-member Board of Commissioners and our County Administrator Controller, along with our elected officials and appointed department directors, placing emphasis on civic involvement, quality housing, vibrant neighborhoods, and strong, solid infrastructure to allow businesses to thrive. Professional, dedicated, collaborative, and innovative.
Behind the scenes, collaboration between foundations, charitable organizations, nonprofits, for-profit businesses, public sector demonstrated through the county, the city of Grand Rapids, the townships, all the cities and the villages in our area. If we don't come together, then we will not have the strength that we have today, and I only hope to build upon that.
Our aim is to make our communities the best they can be. We are involved in exciting development projects, sustainable recycling programs, and creative progressive prevention programming. We partner with elected officials, impacting policy ideas that become great achievements. We seek opportunities to reach out into the community and offer our services to help our residents make Kent County thrive.
Our relationship is solid, both from a staff standpoint at the county level as well as the Board of Commissioners. And they understand what we do and the benefits that we can do for the community, and vice versa. We couldn't do what we do without the help of Kent County.
While most of us are busy running our lives, Kent County's elected officials, administrator controller, and over 1,600 employees are serving the communities where we live our lives, so we can all have a place we are proud to call home. Kent County, its life well run.
Good morning. It is my pleasure to welcome everyone to the Finance and Physical Resources Committee meeting this morning. I'd like to welcome fellow commissioners. I'd like to welcome staff. I'd like to welcome guests from the public. I'd like to welcome our home viewing audience who might be watching this recorded. So with that being said, we will open up with public comment. Is there any public that would like to address the Finance and Physical Resources Committee this morning? Anything that you'd like to address, now would be the time. Okay, seeing none, I will close public comment. That will bring us a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right, moved and supported, and anything have to be pulled? Seeing nothing having to be pulled, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. That brings us to item 3 from the Administrator's Office. Wayman.
Yes, this is a request to appropriate an additional $120,000 to the 2019 senior millage budget from senior millage fund revenues. Tax collections for the senior millage exceeded anticipated revenue. Therefore, we are requesting an additional $120,000 to be appropriated from the senior millage fund reserves to the 2019 senior millage fund budget for use during the fourth quarter of 2019. Funding from the senior millage provides services such as meals, transportation, healthy aging programs, legal services, prescription assistance, weatherization, and in-home care. This additional funding will be utilized to address waiting lists for in-home care case management services. The Area Agency on Aging of Western Michigan administers the senior millage and contract with the agencies that provide the senior services. The Board of Commissioners approved $11.5 million for the 2019 service plan via Resolution 1129-1899.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved and supported, and we'll have questions, comments, and discussion. Yes, Commissioner Polkowski.
I'm just going to note that I'm going to abstain from this because of my ongoing conflict with senior millage funds and my day job.
Got it. Any questions, comments, or discussion? I'll just take a minute and have, is it Matthew? Come on up, because I would like to know what the process is at this point. I know there were numerous projects and requests made that weren't funded. How is it determined where this is spent?
Yeah, there is a waiting list of about 300 people for the home care service right now. So that's why the money's going there, and those are the priority services to keep people in their homes. They're most at risk of having to attrition to a assisted living or a nursing home or something like that. So that's how the funding will be utilized to draw down that waiting list. And then we're in the process next week for the 2020 funds and
Okay.
where they'll go.
All right. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. That brings us to item number 4 from the Board of Commissioners Fiscal Services. Wayman.
Yes, this is a request to the Board of Commissioners to authorize a winter 2019 county corrections and detention millage levy, senior services millage levy, veteran services millage levy, Grand Rapids Public Museum John Ball Zoo millage levy, and Ready by 5 early childhood millage levy. The County Administrator Controller is preparing a recommended budget for the fiscal year 2020, and included in the proposed budget will be programming and appropriations necessary to support operation, debt service, requirements for the county corrections, detention facilities, senior citizens programming, veteran services programming, zoo museum operations, and Ready by 5 early childhood programming. On August 5, 2008, August 5, 2014, November 4, 2014, and November 8, 2016, November 6, 2018, county electors authorized dedicated property tax millages in support of county corrections, detention facilities, senior services, veteran services, zoo museum operations, and Ready by 5 early childhood program, respectively. The resolution will authorize the levy of 2.0013 mills, which includes 0.777 mills for operating debt service requirements for county corrections and detention, a 0.4926 mills for senior millages, a 0.0491 mills for veteran services, a 0.4335 mills for zoo museum operations, and 0.2484 for Ready by 5 early childhood programming. Funds derived from the levy of these millages will be utilized to support these services in the fiscal year 2020 county budget.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved and supported. Questions, comments, and discussion? Yes, Commissioner Polkowski.
I think I have to abstain from this as well, just because the senior millage fund is in there. That being said, not at all related to the debate on this issue, just simply a request for facts that this could be a great opportunity for, hopefully there's a simple chart somewhere that would say, here's like the millage level and the amount that was collected in like 18 and 19, and then here's projected, and then the impact of Headley.
Yep.
Because we like to say we lost money on Headley. We actually, the increase is less. So we didn't really lose money, we just didn't increase by as much. And so the use of language and the good and the bad of Headley, depending on those of us who remember its passage.
Washington D.C., I like that.
Sorry, well, no, I don't. I stay away for a reason.
We have a
But-
chart that explains that.
Yeah, so just a nice
we can
simple
provide
chart,
that to
because
you.
as other commissioners said at our previous session, when people go to our website, things like that. And then, of course, a nice calculator to say
Our-
how much.
Our Deputy Fiscal Director, Deputy Director of Fiscal Services provided that for me a week or so ago. We can
All right, cool.
push
Thank
that
you.
to you guys.
All right.
Okay, anything else? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, and for Commissioner Volkowski?
Abstain.
And one abstain. And sorry about that last vote, but we can note for the record, your last vote was also abstain because you made that in the comments prior, so. All right, that brings us to item number 5 from Fiscal Services and Wayman.
Yes, this is a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners to approve a resolution authorizing the issuance, sale, and delivery of bonds not to exceed $140 million by the Kent Hospital Finance Authority for Spectrum Health System. Spectrum Health System has requested that the Kent Hospital Finance Authority issue bonds, and the loan proceeds to refinance outstanding debt, pay capitalized interest, pay the cost of acquiring, constructing, furnishing, and equipping new facilities. The authority will adopt a resolution authorizing issuance of bonds on behalf of Spectrum Health System on October 14, 2019, and will hold a public hearing concerning it on October the 9th, 2019. The resolution, if adopted, will approve the issuance, sale, and delivery of the bonds by the authority. The authorization granted by the county is solely for the purpose of complying with the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended. This indebtedness will not constitute a general obligation or debt for the county of Kent.
Is there a motion to approve?
Move. Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Questions, comments, and discussion? Yes, Commissioner Volkowski.
I just have to ask the question, sorry, if we aren't responsible for this debt, and so again, it's just a requirement of the Internal Revenue Code that we have to approve the issuance, but yeah, we're just, that approval doesn't put us on the hook in any way, shape, or form?
Correct.
All right.
Other than the fact that they're a significant part of our community, and of course, we hope that whatever they do doesn't have a negative impact on the overall quality of life. They're large enough that they impact us, but we're not on the hook for back in response, correct?
Yeah, I mean, again, but I understand that, and I would imagine many private entities are borrowing money around our community every day, and we don't have to approve it. Or, yeah, so anyways, it's just a question of why do we have to do this?
We can get you a primer on the 1986 amended
Thank you.
Internal Revenue Code related to it, so you understand why the county has a role in this.
All right,
We can do that.
all right, thanks.
Commissioner Wooden?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was wondering if that was because of the IRC. Is this a tax exempt bond then? And so that's why we're approving it, so that their investment and the returns can be tax exempt by federal law, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and thank you. And then my other question is, the reason Mason and Ludington is involved is only because the bond is going to multiple locations, and so they have to receive approvals from each of those
Correct.
jurisdictions? Okay,
Correct.
that's it.
Commissioner Morgan?
Thank you, Madam. Maybe it'll be helpful for the new commissioners if you just put out a brief summary of the Hospital Finance Authority and why it was created, and
Sure.
and,
We can do
used
that.
this mechanism
For
a lot
years.
for various
Yeah.
health providers in the county to, expand their business.
Absolutely.
Or their, the capital component of that.
Sure.
So.
We can do
I think
that.
it'd be very helpful to give
Absolutely.
just a brief history. of
We'll send something out later this week. I think we can do that very quickly.
Commissioner Voorhees?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I was of the understanding yet that this was a obligation on the people of Kent County in the bond, but it's not because of the federal rule on it, huh? Yeah, because every time we get these, as in the past, I always like to look at what's our outstanding obligation, because we're guaranteeing something, but.
The Hospital Finance Authority has a responsibility to review each one of these requests, and you appoint that finance authority. So that's their responsibility. That's why it's coming here to you.
Go ahead, Commissioner
And
Morgan.
We did that in the past with Metro Hospital, with
St. Mary's,
St. Mary's and.
others.
with,
Yes.
Mary Free Bed. in their latest expansion, so
Yes.
maybe a little background. No, that's why I'm trying to help.
We can do that.
I mean, this is not our first
No.
bond
No,
along
we've
these
done
lines.
this
'Cause I've-
several
I've-
times in the past.
Right.
Yeah, we've done this many times. I've been here 15, it's almost 16. I think this is probably the fourth or fifth time that I can remember that this has been done. Yeah.
Anyone else? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. That brings us to item number 6 from our Health Department and Wayman.
Yes, this is a request, let me get to the page here. Lost it. This is a request to the board to add 1 full-time public health nurse and 1 full-time outreach worker position and to accept and appropriate $212,700 from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services to the 2019-20 Health Fund budget. Recently, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services alerted the Health Department that $212,700 was available to implement a Ryan White HIV/AIDS program to focus on expanding HIV services offered by the Health Department beyond HIV testing and counseling to include early intervention services. Persons living with HIV/AIDS often face substantial barriers when seeking diagnosis, counseling, and treatment. Offering EIS will allow the Health Department to provide consistent, timely support, linkage to care, insurance, navigation, and referrals to appropriate community agencies, leading to significant increase in time between diagnosis. To support the work required by this grant, 1 full-time public health nurse and 1 full-time outreach worker position will be created. The cost of salary and benefits for each of the positions is $78,646 and $54,100 respectively. In addition, 0.15 FTE of an existing public health program supervisor and a 0.055 FTE of an existing epidemiologist will be charged to the grant for supervision and program evaluation. Total cost for these 2 positions for the 11-month grant period is $21,931. Travel supplies and overhead costs are $58,000 and $1,100. The grant period is November 1, 2019 to September 30, 2020. It is expected that the grant will be renewed for a minimum of 3 years. If funding is eliminated or decreased, the positions will be eliminated unless continuation funding is approved pursuant to the fiscal policy on grants, contracts, and donations. This item was recommended for approval by the Legislative and Human Resources Committee at its September 24, 2019 committee meeting.
Thank you, Wayman. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support.
All right, we have moved and supported. We'll have questions, comments, and discussion. Anybody? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. That brings us to item number 7 for miscellaneous. Commissioner Miscellaneous this morning. Yes, Commissioner Wooden.
Just want to thank the Health Department for the work they've been doing, publicizing the concerns around EEE, and also the news about the targeted aerial spraying. I don't represent any of the areas that do. I realize that 2 commissioners at this rostrum do, so I'm sure they have even more stories of folks coming to them with concerns about both items, but the Health Department has been on top of it and has been quite public about it, and I'm very thankful for their work.
Okay. Anyone else for miscellaneous? I will echo those, because I am one of those commissioners who's had the phone calls, who stopped off at Oakfield Township yesterday morning with the county map that was created from our health department out of the information they had from the state, so it was clearer on where that area was targeted for spraying. I've had my fair share of phone calls with residents, with elected officials, so I commend Adam, because again, we were both on the phone with He was on the phone with me, texting at 9:45 on a Friday evening, so I'm really grateful that he stays up late. And I was able to address some residents' concerns, and we worked together for that. So it's a great team, and I really appreciate it. Yes, Commissioner Voorhees.
Madam Chair, would it be permissible to request Adam to update us on the areas? I see Adam's here.
We're in miscellaneous. I don't see why not. Adam, come on up.
Are
Good morning, and thank you for those comments. We're certainly working very hard, along with our partners at the state right now and in other counties, to address this issue. The two areas that we have in Kent County that have been identified for aerial spraying, one is primarily in Oakfield Township and northeast part of the county, and straddles the Montcalm County line. That area was identified because of a deer which was tested last week and found to have triple E. The other area is in primarily a portion of northern Solon Township in the northwest part of the county, and that's because of a horse that was found in southern Newaygo County that tested positive for triple E a week or so ago. I expect that both of those areas are probably going to be treated tonight. The state has a number of areas. We're actually a very, very small portion of their area of concern here in Kent County. The larger areas are to the south of us in Calhoun and Berrien and Cass, Van Buren. But there are areas of concern now through scattered throughout most of South and Southwest Michigan. The state continues to find more animals that have tested positive. We heard of 3 more yesterday, not in Kent County, but throughout Southwest Michigan. We're now at a total of 33 animals throughout 15 counties. There are 9 human cases, including 3 deaths. And we're certainly concerned that those numbers are going to continue to increase over the next few weeks until we get a good hard frost to knock those mosquitoes down. It's an unusual year where we have the virus present in the birds, which are the host of the organism. We have the mosquito vector that spreads the virus between the birds. We have another mosquito vector. Most people don't realize that there's actually a huge variety of mosquito species here in Michigan. Each one has its favorite ecosystem, its favorite diet of things it likes to feed on. We just so happen to have the birds with a virus. The mosquitoes like to bite the birds. We have another mosquito vector present right now that likes to bite the birds, but also is more of an opportunist and bites deer and people and horses. And we have the weather being what it is. So with all these things together, we have all of the right ingredients for a really concerning situation, and that's what we've responded to. So we're hoping to prevent any preventable cases, human cases of this. It really is a terrible illness when people develop encephalitis. About a third of those who develop encephalitis don't make it. And we've seen that so far, 3 out of 9. And the ones that do make it often have lifelong neurological issues. So we're hoping to prevent that.
Then Adam, you had a phone conversation with our superintendents, a few of them?
I did, yeah.
Of schools?
Ron Kaler and Ron Kniff from KSD were able to organize a call last Friday morning with I think 29 of the superintendents, and I gave them an update and shared with them our recommendation, the state's recommendation, that to the best of their ability, they shift the start times of evening events. It's not time for panic. It is a time for precaution. It's a time where if we can do reasonable things that are going to reduce our exposure to mosquitoes, we should do those things. And shifting the game times was something that they can do. We don't think it's necessary right now to cancel games. We think that the situation is under control to the extent where reducing risk is our tactic right now.
And they also shifted some practices. I know that my son's in the Rockford High School Marching Band. He now practices from 4 to 7 instead of their usual 6 to 9 to help keep the exposure to bites to smaller time window, because of the time that they tend to be out to bite. So that's important. Yes, Commissioner Antor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Adam, for all your work, and I'm glad you're erring on the side of caution on this. I just wanted to point out, I don't know how many people are aware, I've been trying to make people aware of this, but in 2010, we had an epidemic of EEE in this county. We had dead deer. We had so many of them dying from that disease, the DNR in the state quit testing them. They just, every time you call in with a deer that was acting strangely or diseased, they just said, put it down, bury it. And they were literally dumping deer in the landfills. My guess is there was hundreds of them, if not thousands. We don't know because they quit testing them. That was in 2010. And since the dead animals here are kind of the trigger point for further testing and so forth, it's just, I'm still wondering why in 2010 there wasn't a reaction to the EED outbreak. And I know Adam's working on some of those answers. I don't know if it's mutated to the point now where it's affecting humans, or we just got lucky in 2010. But if you were to go to the state of Michigan's website, they list 2 documented cases in 2010 of EEE, 2 statewide, and we had probably hundreds, if not thousands, here in this area. So I don't trust the numbers, is my bottom line.
Hey, Commissioner Breve.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Dr. Adam London. I have a couple constituents that have contacted me with concerns about spraying. Now, according to the map, there's no spray happening in Caledonia and Gaines Township, but, the northern areas that you mentioned. So how would you address their concerns? One was a veteran from Vietnam that was familiar with Agent Orange, so this was definitely something that he, it just hit him kind of hard, so.
That's understandable. It's certainly not something that we like to do, especially with such short notice. The spraying that they do is called ultra-low volume spraying. It's with a registered and highly tested chemical, permethrin, that is regularly used throughout the rest of the country without significant effects to human health or to the environment, to animals. In fact, there are a lot of counties throughout the country that do this not just for emergency response like this, but they do it for just nuisance control throughout the entire year. I think some of our counties over in the Saginaw Bay area use this chemical aerial spraying all year long because they don't like mosquitoes. So they do that effectively without significant effects to the bees or to cats or to other things. So I understand the concerns. I really appreciate the fears that people have. As a parent, I'd be concerned myself not knowing what I do know about this. But I would also say to people that the actual toxicity at this dose is incredibly low. We're talking about a tablespoon per acre that they use in this very fine mist. People are actually exposed to much greater levels of toxins every time they pump their gas or every time they clean their house with cleaning chemicals. So we don't, again, like to do anything like this, but in consideration of the concerns that we have about EEE and the fact that we very likely could lose some of our residents because of this, we're doing what we can within reason to respect people's rights, but also to be careful to protect the population as a whole.
Thank you.
And Adam, there's an opt-out email that was available, EEE@michigan.gov.
Yes.
Which I shared with a number of people. I was curious, I was having a conversation last night with someone who talked about noticing on his Facebook page a few friends that had healthy pets, and then in the last few weeks, those healthy pets have just died suddenly. And is that something that vets are supposed to be aware of now, and if small animals are dying quickly, pets, that they should be tested?
For EEE,
Yeah.
there is a relationship that the state veterinarian has with veterinarians for reportable disease. So there should be some reporting system there. I'm not an expert on zoonotic disease reporting from the veterinarian's offices, but I know that they do monitor that ongoing.
And then I wanted to talk a minute about future spraying. So for the commissioners here, if tomorrow there is a dead horse or dead deer that's identified positively for EEE, will the state then target that area for additional spraying?
That is my understanding.
So I think that's something that all of us need to properly communicate to our local officials that we're connected with, because that's a very possible reality. Yes, Commissioner Sparks.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have a question. 1.4 million or 1.8 million is the expense on this. What portion does Kent County have to cover, if any, or is that just going to be covered by the state?
It's entirely covered by the state.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Antor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm sorry about the opt-out process. Who can opt out? Is it communities?
Any resident, any property owner can opt out. They can contact the email address that Commissioner Jones mentioned, and the catch is they have to give 48 hours notice before the spraying is scheduled to happen, because it takes that long to check that the property owner is accurate, that the dimensions of the property, and they actually are partnering with our IT department to get the mapping make sure that they're spraying the proper area. When they do that, and assuming they get it within 48 hours, they exclude an area at least 1,000 feet by 1,000 feet over that address. Now, if someone owns a larger property than that, they'll do the entire property, but the challenge is when you have more densely developed
I was
areas.
gonna say, it seems impossible to be able to, you're talking about like crop dusting, you can't control drift and stuff. I mean, the perfect conditions is hard.
So, yeah, there is a level of drift I'm sure happens.
Sure.
They have to do this spraying under very low wind conditions because of how fine the mist is. But the computers that they use working with GIS to control the equipment that does the spraying is pretty sophisticated. It's much more sophisticated than just a regular crop duster that you can see over a field. So they're using GIS in order to know when to turn on and turn off the mister in order to exclude those 1,000 by 1,000 foot areas. Now, most of those areas are actually larger than that because if someone owns 100 acres, they're going to exclude that entire area. The challenge is a challenge that Kalamazoo recognized yesterday is that if they get so many opt-outs, you start getting the map being more opted out than included in the spraying. Yeah, and pretty soon it becomes not really feasible or really even effective to be spraying just a very, very small intermittent spots throughout a region. So it was a waste of resources to try to do that.
And also, just as everybody probably knows, you can send your kids out, spray them off with DEET, and works, it's very effective against mosquitoes. And I think, there's things that we can do on our own to, take care of our kids and ourselves.
I think that's our primary line of defense right now is self-protection and precaution using repellents and using some common sense.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Adam. I want to finish miscellaneous with a very warm welcome to Monica. Nice to have Commissioner Sparks back. Thank you very much. Glad you are feeling well enough to engage again. We certainly have missed you. And I'd also like to add that we didn't start with this, but we did have our work session for the budget prior to this finance meeting. We have another one next week, which is a new approach to this. So from 7:30 a.m. until 10 on next week, Tuesday, we will have a list of additional topics we will be deep diving in a work session for the budget. So with that, I don't see any other miscellaneous. We will adjourn. Our next meeting date is October 15th.
I am Kent County. I am Kent County.
I am Kent County.
We are 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 Kent County.
Beya, Kent County. Ami, Kent County.
Somos, Kent County.
Mas Ira, Kent County.
We are Kent County. We are Kent County. We are Kent County. Oh yeah.